We are live.
Hey everybody, welcome to AK Geeks. I'm Sean. With me I have the wonderful Lynn.
Holy shit, we're alive and we're united in a movie review.
Yes, it's been a few months.
No shit.
There's been some discombobulation with everybody's schedules, which kind of caused a snowball, it seemed.
Yep, we did no Christmas movies.
No, we didn't. We'll fix all this stuff. Thank you for joining us today. If you're with us live right now, thank you. We're gonna do our Black Panther review. Okay, so it released on last Thursday on the 15th. A little bit about it so far. It's doing well in the box offices, money-wise. And let me give you guys a quick little paragraph about it. T'Challa, the king of Wakanda, rises to the throne in the isolated, technologically advanced African nation. But his claim is challenged by a vengeful outsider who was a childhood victim of T'Challa's father's mistake. It's directed by Ryan Coogler. It is starring Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, and it goes on. Lynn.
Yes.
Let's start out positive. What did you like about the movie?
It was beautiful. Sceneries were enormous, gorgeous. Characters were strong. Every character was strong. There's no weak character in the bunch, which I loved. I was extremely infatuated with every female performer in this film.
Woo,
they were
about it, right?
They were freaking badass.
Angela Bassett, Lupita Nyong'o, Denai Guerrera.
Denai. Oh my god. I don't miss her as Michonne when I was watching this movie. I'd like to see her more as this character because she comes off more badass than she does as Michonne. If that's even possible.
Yes. No, I totally get you with that. Because, okay, like, I'm going with you with, I don't want to jump too far into my stuff, but the action scenes.
Yeah.
Like, the action set pieces that stands in my mind the most is the casino scene with her just freaking, that freaking spear.
The spear.
That just doing, oh my god, all that stuff. Oh, and by the way, you guys, this is spoiler filled, so we're gonna say stuff.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Liz.
Yeah. That's another thing, man. This movie had a lot of feel of a James Bond / Mission Impossible type movie. Without doing the big, airplane piece or the big stunt piece of the movie. You know what I mean? So I have to say, man, this is more deserving that Marvel has finally found their niche when it finally means when they have full control of their property and they're the ones behind the camera as well, they know what they're doing. So
you're talking about the whole James Bond thing. Do you feel like that was also helped along because of Shuri's role in the film, Letitia Wright?
Listen, Letitia Wright as Shuri is my favorite character out of the whole fucking movie. I'm literally in love, physically in love with this woman. And I'm talking about the character Shuri more so than anything else. She was funny, she was bright, she was vibrant. She played off of the seriousness that was T'Challa.
And you believe their brother-sister relationship.
Exactly. Right from the start when you first see her.
They do the hand thing.
No, I'm talking about like giving him the finger.
Oh, that too, yeah.
And Angela Bassett, yeah. So, I loved her dynamics with him.
This is a movie that, in that sense that we're talking about the women right now, that was super empowering for women. It didn't require them to be sexy. It didn't require them to do anything risque like that. But
or be rescued.
To be in a powerful position. And just being who they were, their characters were written very well, and that made them, like, not only were they fierce, but they were sexy too because of that stuff, right?
Yep.
So yeah, definitely.
And even towards the end in the final battle, when they just jump in and go for broke, every single female that's in this film, and they were going toe to toe with some like guys that were 3 times their size, and they were just wrecking stuff. Oh, you could not. You could not ask for a better thing. That's why I'm looking super forward for Captain Marvel.
All right, so tell me more. What anything else? Other things that caught your eye, caught your attention that you liked?
Oh, Forrest Whitaker surprised me.
Okay.
Because I thought his character was going to be a lot smaller and not as integral a part as it turned out to be. Yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. It's like
it was cool how they snuck him in there.
Yeah.
With the whole spy thing, and then turning to where they got with his death.
Yeah.
It was kind of the driving force without them saying he's the driving force.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like what you're touching on right there is what this film did well is, in my mind, of course, every film has a little bit of exposition, but this film did well without having to have the exposition of explaining you A, B, C, D just to make the film work.
What's good about this, even though we've seen T'Challa in Civil War, which is his first appearance, and we got a little bit of his taste, we also got a more fleshed out origin to not only him but his father as the Black Panther, and the scenes and even the scenes when he goes into the Mystic Plains and he's talking to his father.
Yeah, plains.
Yeah, and he's seeing, he's talking to him, and it comes for me between Civil War and this. It comes it feels a complete circle for T'Challa and him as a origin story. Like it just flow. Like you could watch Civil War and then just jump right into Black Panther without skipping a beat, and it'd be perfect. Just because of the flow for his character, and it just glides right in. Because it only takes place, what was it, like 2 weeks after the events of Civil War?
Okay. At the beginning of the film, not in the Oakland part, but when they actually go to T'Challa,
present time.
He's watching the video, and they say it's been a week at that point.
I thought it was a couple weeks.
And so it's been a week at that point, and I think the course of the rest of the movie, I think it might have maybe been a couple days. Days, maybe at the most. The relationship between the fathers and the sons in this film. So you have T'Challa and his father T'Chaka was the king, and T'Chaka had a brother T'Chaka, and he had a brother Njaku, and he goes sent on a war dog mission to America, who he then becomes radicalized, meets a woman and has a kid of his own who's about the same age as T'Challa. The only thing is, one's growing up in Wakanda, one's growing up in America, and that's when the big thing happens with Forrest Whitaker's character when he's younger. He's going to be killed by T'Chaka's brother, and so he saves his life but kills his brother and then leaves the kid there. So it causes this animosity and taking the world away from the kid. But these relationships between Michael B. Jordan's character, they're calling him Eric Stevens, Eric Killmonger, and his father, which is the guy from This Is Us, right? I think Sterling, whatever. He won a award recently for acting for This Is Us for an Emmy. And then the relationship between T'Challa and his father, those relationships were beautiful, man. Like I loved it. Like especially when Michael B. Jordan goes to his house in Oakland, dude, in that apartment, and he goes in there as a little kid. And during the scene,
when he's in the spiritual planes again.
Yeah, the ancestral
planes.
There, and it takes him to that place for him.
Yeah.
Where his father is, because that's where his soul is. And he goes in as an adult, he turns into a young boy, and then he comes back, it turns into an adult during that process. And you see this growth and connection between the two of them, and it's beautiful. The same thing with T'Challa.
But at the same time, you also see how much wrong, because in that scene, which I loved, his father knew that he failed him by what he did. Because for one, he asked, "No tears for me."
No tears for my son.
Yeah.
And also, he said the next line, which was, "Maybe I should have taken you there sooner."
Right.
Because now you wouldn't be in the state that you are right now, in the mindset you are, and going off
tangents. He knew it sort of gave justification for T'Chaka for doing what he did to him, because it shows him, because of all this, because of the downward spiral that everything happened, this is how his son turned out.
Yeah, and I understand where they're coming from too. With what they see going on in this world when they're outside of Wakanda, they've lived in Wakanda, right? The brother did. So he knows what it's like, and he goes out of it, goes to America and see what's happening in that time period, whether he was there in the 60s, 70s, whatever. But he sees how things are going with their ancestors, African descent, that are there in America, and so it's radicalized him. And I love that this is to me, it's kind of like a natural progression. You know, you go from being at this high level and having everything, not ever fighting for nothing, and you go in to see somebody. It's like coming to America. You go over there and you go to another person that looks like you, and you're like, oh, didn't you have this or that? And like, no, we don't got that here. You know, we get treated like this. And they're like, what? Like, it's a big surprise to them. So, and then where Eric Killmonger gets that whole intention from, and also the loss of his father, it's like, to me, it's totally believable as a backstory and a reasoning behind this. It's kind of like how Magneto is a great villain in the X-Men movies, because he believes in everything that he's doing, not just to be a mustache twirling villain, right?
Yeah.
What else did you like about the film? I think the action set pieces were pretty dang good. Some of the stuff without the suit on in the casino was amazing. The martial arts in there, I really loved that stuff.
I think I've pretty much touched on everything that I mentioned, like, you know, as far as the key elements that pulls the whole movie together.
How'd you feel about the music? I love the music. There was two different sides of the music. There was the traditional African style of music, which was
necessary, which
oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that music was necessary. It made sense. I, of course, not big on, you know, the hip hop.
You don't like hip hop to begin with.
Well, no. See, that's you assuming shit.
No, it's because based on what you said.
Listen,
like 2 weeks ago, I told you about the Kendrick Lamar stuff.
Yeah, that's all caca. What hip hop is today is garbage. It will always be garbage to me. There's no message in it. There's nothing. Now, hip hop legends and hip hop godfathers and guys like KRS-One or Grandmaster Flash, things along that nature, then we could talk. Garbage of today, which has no message, I could do without. You know, so that's where we stand. So, do I hate hip hop? No, I hate the current iteration of hip hop.
Okay, so besides that, then did you like the influence or the amount what they did with combining the aspects of the music from what would be considered traditional Wakanda music, and how they infused it with the hip hop when they would show Killmonger, how they kind of blended the two? I loved it. I thought it was awesome. Some of the scenes where they're really showing it as an example was after he's taken the throne from T'Challa. They have that scene that we see in the trailer where the camera's rotating while he's walking into the throne. Yeah. And they're playing beat where it has the background of the beat, the hip hop beat, but also with the traditional Wakandan music over top of it. And I thought that was awesome.
Well, but for me, saying hip hop beats, that's kind of a oxymoron, because all that originates from tribal drums anyway. So it's sort of like the chicken and the egg.
I mean,
for me, how I see it.
There are semantics right now, Lynn.
Well, no.
There's a definite line between the two types of things that were.
Yes, but considering that one is the originator of the other.
Okay.
So for me, the way I look at it, it's not really, you know, yeah, I get it, but it doesn't. It's not as impactful to me as you took it. You know.
Did you like it or no?
The music in that scene, no. It didn't really nothing. It didn't catch my eye. The traditional music for the traditional scenes, like the battle on the falls and things like that, yeah, that was a little bit more impactful and things like that. But you know, not all the music do I have to gravitate to. I don't have to love every fucking piece of music in there, and I don't.
No.
You know, so it's just fine. Because it's not my thing. But the music flows for this movie overall. I can't begrudge it for
it. That's my main point, is that they were able to do something with the music that some other movies oftentimes flub.
Yeah.
And I think this one did it really well with everything they did. I truly, I don't know how they did the music, like the traditional Wakandan music. If they got people from Africa and truly like dove in head first, that's awesome. I would love to find out more about that. But the stuff when they're going to do the fight at the waterfalls and they're doing their dance, you know, with the shoulders and the chest and the humming and whatnot, and like that stuff was freaking awesome. I love that. Like the way to incorporate it and to really set this stage of how this land of Wakanda like acts, you know, their rituals, their traditions, their history.
Yeah.
Same time, they're super futuristic. I liked how it brings it all together.
Yep.
Acting for you, you really, I enjoyed all the acting. All the
acting
was
was yeah.
T'Challa was awesome. B. Jordan as a villain, Michael B. Jordan was amazing.
He's a good play off of T'Challa.
Yes, definitely. His personality, his character's personality, is definitely that brash, in-your-face guy. And T'Challa's more humble, thoughtful leader.
Yeah, and he's the second person who's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe who's played the Human Torch, as well as another character. The other one being, of course, our very own Captain America, Chris Evans. So I think that's fun little trivia.
And also, I mean, with Ryan Coogler directing this, Michael B. Jordan's been in every one of all three of his movies. So they have a bond. It's one of them. It's one of them things that you see with other actors and directors. I guess they have it too when they work with each other. They love working with each other and they gel well. I think he did amazing.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's that comfort zone. You know where you're getting.
Yeah, definitely. He knows how to. He must know how to talk to him to get the best out of him. Because as good as Michael B. Jordan's been in some of his things, like he's also had some flops where he's like, "Dude, well, I don't know what you're doing there, man."
Fantastic Four.
Yeah. For every Fantastic Four, hopefully you get a role in Black Panther like this, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure we're gonna get more into some stuff we liked as we think more about it. But what's the kind of stuff that you didn't like?
All right, Marvel. This is my pet peeve with you.
Okay.
And this goes against, and I don't know whether to put this towards the storytelling aspect or just the overall Marvel cinematic aspect. But you build up a great villain, and no, I'm not talking about Michael B. Jordan's character. I'm talking about Claw. All right, you build up Claw. You make this great villain who's been with us since Avengers: Age of Ultron, who's a pretty decent villain in the Marvel universe. And
Andy Serkis has done a great job as him too. I loved him as.
But what I wanted to see him as part of the Axis of Evil with Baron Zemo, and the leaping Frenchman that was in Captain America.
Bardock.
No, it was what the hell? I'll remember. It's one of it's. Yeah.
You're talking about Saint Pierre, George Saint Pierre.
George Saint Pierre, but his character, plus those two, that's a good Axis of Evil type, menagerie that could have worked. But then you build this guy up, you make him a solid, decent villain. Now, mind you, I don't believe I still have my hopes up because we didn't see a body and we didn't see the gunshot where it hit, so I'm thinking he's still alive. Because we see the body being brought to Wakanda, a scientific nation that fixed the guy's back and had him walking again. So I'm not, and this is a guy who had a robotic arm. So
if that's where you're gonna go, then okay, I get what you're saying.
Right.
But he got shot twice, and then he got shot the third time point blank. So they shot a bullet wound right here
and lower,
his abdomen.
Yeah.
And then the third time, which we don't see where that hit, but it wasn't in the head, obviously.
Right. It was, which is why I'm saying I don't think there was a kill shot, and I'm sticking to it because I'm hoping that they're not going to just throw away this character that they invested so much time and effort in building a really solid foundation for him, that he could be used, with other supporting characters as a group to go against, like, say, the Avengers or, you know, Guardians if need be.
Okay, so I'm not gonna say I was entirely with you on this, because when I was watching it, when Michael B. Jordan's character Eric Killmonger, when Killmonger turns on Claw at the airport, the junkyard airport, I was like, oh no, what's gonna happen? Because I like Claw right now. I think Anthony Serkis is doing some freaking awesome work. He needs to get more work outside of CG, you know. And then he killed him, and so I was disappointed, but at the same time I'm like, but that's cool that there's some stakes in this, you know. He wasn't like
no.
He wasn't. And no, but let me get to my point though. He wasn't a red suit. You know, I didn't even finish
my point. Is what I'm saying. Marvel has a tendency, and they've been doing this with every villain. Going back to the Red Skull, you build up a decent villain that can last for a franchise, and you kill them off in the same fucking film. By the end of the fucking 10 years, we have no villains minus Thanos, who's been teased since the first Avengers film. So for about a good portion of the first 8 years that we've been teased Thanos. But as far as any traditional villain for the Marvel Universe, it's one and done. And I'm sick of Marvel constantly doing that. It's wash, rinse, and repeat. You're doing that with all the villains. You're not going to have anybody for the heroes to fight against unless you fight against themselves. How many fucking Civil Wars do we need to have?
We still have Abomination. We still have Zemo.
We don't have Zemo. Zemo supposedly shot himself in the head, you know, and he may be in prison, you know, if it wasn't for T'Challa. I know, but he had to. Yeah, but we don't know where he is. You know what I mean? We haven't seen him. They didn't. My point is, outside of Zemo, you got nobody.
An Abomination.
You got nobody. They're not going to bring Abomination back because they don't want to make reference to the Hulk movie.
You still have from Doctor Strange. You have Mordor.
He's on that slippery slope. But my point is, everybody's done. Key characters who are big-time baddies, i.e. the Red Skull, i.e. Claw. If they were to do a Secret Wars type film, and that's another big storyline that they could do, they can't do it if they kill off most of the villains.
Here's the thing about by Red Skull though. They again like your hope for Claw.
Yeah.
We don't know if Red Skull's dead.
Well, I like to think not, but we've already gone 3 films in with Captain America, and they haven't even teased him. So I'm at the point that they're not even going to bother to bring up the Red Skull.
Well, here's the thing: they're going to have to get somebody else to play it because Hugo Weaving doesn't want to play it again. So
well, I understand that. Awesome. I'm not worried about that. It's not like he was great. It's not like him, the actor, was great as Red Skull.
I'm saying though, but he could still be alive. He could very well show up in an Infinity War for all we know. But because that Tesseract probably transported him somewhere, whatever he was thinking of, right? And so he could still be alive. So I'm just throwing that out there for you. He could still be alive.
I'm just putting it this way. I want Marvel to keep an established villain, and outside of Batroc, because that's who the villain was in Captain America Winter Soldier. Batroc. Besides Batroc, he's the only one who got away. Everybody is either dead or we don't know anything about, you know? And we can't base the entire cinematic universe on just the heroes and Thanos. That's not going to work.
Well, I'm sure they have some more up their sleeves, and we'll see more.
Look at the Guardians in both Guardians films. No, I don't. And even Michael B. Jordan's character took it to the gut, and he's like, he basically committed Harry Carey. Like, nope, I'm not letting you. Like, I'm done. Now, T'Challa and the Science of Wakanda could probably, fix that, and they could probably play into that story if they want to bring him back. But this doesn't give me the sense that it doesn't look that great for the Marvel villains at all.
That great as in they're gonna die, or it doesn't look that great as in.
But there's nobody left.
There's not many left.
Yeah, there's nobody left. And what are you gonna do? Peace Pop Pete? Unless you bring back the Spidey villains outside of Venom, like Doc Ock, and inject them and Doctor Doom out of the FF, you don't really have nobody established.
I think they're gonna have stuff still. But I at first when the claw thing happened, I wasn't entirely. I was like, oh no, I want to see him go on. But at the same time, I was like, okay, they used the death for a reason, and to me it felt like this is not an empty death. Like, it's a worthwhile character, so I like that. The only thing is, though, the worthwhile characters also need to die on both sides, if you know what I mean. Which hope maybe we'll see if it happens in Infinity War. Anything else that you didn't like?
No, that's pretty much my only pet peeve is what Marvel does with the villains. You establish them, you make them great, you make them likable, and you make them believable in contrast to your hero, and then you just do away with them in one and done, and that's it.
All right, I gotta say this though, with Michael B. Jordan's character, it'd have been interesting for him to carry on as well as Claw's character, because Claw wasn't the main villain of this one. Especially, it would have been nice to keep Claw around, but Michael B. Jordan's character, I gotta say, that death scene, man, I really loved it. I loved what he said at the end. Just dump me in the ocean, like my ancestors who jumped off the ships that realized death is better than bondage. You know, it's like,
I thought he went out like a punk. No, seriously. Minus his phrasing, I think he still could have had. They should have still hinted at a little bit of redemption for him. There was no redemption in his character at that. He was like, nope, I fucked up. Fuck it. Just dump me. Get rid of me.
I don't know. I don't even think that he thinks that he messed up. It's just that he got beat at that point. He said, what, so you can put me in chains, behind bars, lock me up? You know, he realized what they would do to him. I still liked his death scene. I like what they scripted for his character.
Right. In other words, you're not strong enough to deal with the fact that you're talking all this stuff about ancestrals who jumped out of boats and what have you, but you're not strong enough to deal with the responsibilities of what you did by going to trial, serving your time, and doing what you need to do. Instead, you're gonna take the shortcut and just be done with it, and then ask to be dumped like garbage. That's going out like a punk to me, and it goes back to what I said. No, I'm telling. No, missing nothing. That's my point. How I saw it. You can't tell me I'm wrong on that. It's how I saw it. He was strong throughout the whole thing. He was like, "Oh no, I don't want to accept responsibility for my actions. Yeah, Wakanda's beautiful now and what have you, but I should have won. I don't want to deal with being in prison. I don't want to deal with the fact that I was wrong. So I'm taking this blade to even deeper and just dump me in the water." That's running away from your responsibility. A strong character has been completely at the end. And that's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. So.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say I disagree with you. Don't argue with me. That's my opinion. I disagree with you. I thought the way that he died was perfectly fine. If they're gonna kill him again, like you're saying, it would have been nice to see one of those two go on. If Claw would have been able to go on because he was not the main villain, it would have been nice to build up the story afterwards. But I was okay with that. Now let's get into some of the stuff. Like, is there anything that comes off the top of your head, like moments that just were like that, whether they're good or bad, it doesn't matter. Like some moments that just totally got you and pulled you in.
No, the reason why I really can't think of any is because I watched this movie on a Saturday morning, but at the same time as a Saturday morning. Now we know, to be fair, this is the first time in God knows how many I want to say 13, 14 years that I've ever had to tell somebody, shut the fuck up. Because they're screaming at the screen to the characters on screen like they're right next to them. Now, I'm not saying what this person's nationality or ethnic background is, but it's something that I haven't experienced since I've been in New Jersey. Let's just put it that way. And all I heard was like, I know I didn't get shushed. And my response was like, yeah, you did. I want to watch the movie. I want to hear the movie, not your mouth. So that sort of kept me out for a good chunk of things. Because, you try to stay so focused on the film, then you hear, you go, girl. That's right. I was not having it. So I can't really.
Was it consistent or was it?
Yeah.
Okay, if it was a one-time thing, I'd let it go. But if it was consistent through the film, I'd be like, yeah, I would be like, hey, can you like? We're all here trying to watch the film. If you're, my thing is for people that do that. If somebody's watching this, and I'm not trying to be an asshole, but if you're gonna be like that in the theater, other people are there and paid their money to experience this as well. Please watch it at home.
Which is exactly what I was gonna say. It's like you want to be loud, you want to be loud, you want to be obnoxious, you want to be rude. Do it in the comfort of your own home when you're able to do something. When you're doing it in a place, where just after watching, because it started right from the beginning, just after watching the "Please Remain Quiet" logo, that's real big. Yeah. Where her own sister on the other side of benches that she was at was playing with her phone as that message was on the screen. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? This is the old. No, I did not take Ronan with me to see Black Panther, because of the social aspects of the film. I figured he could wait to see it when we own it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think that's a good decision because I wouldn't necessarily recommend this film for kids. As much as it is a superhero film, this film has more adult topics as a whole, and it's not really for Ronan's age, 7, 8, 9, the kids that age. It's movies heavier than that, I think.
It's heavy, but it doesn't put itself out to be, that's another good thing that I want to say for the film.
It has a good balance of it.
It has its social message, it has its soapbox, but it's not like this. It's not like, oh my God, man, you're white, I'm gonna beat you over the head with it. You know what I mean?
It's more like the social aspect for Michael B. Jordan's character. Killmonger was a contributing factor, which helped his dad, which is his idol. He loves his dad, so he's following in his footsteps, which makes him do the things he does. But also because his dad was killed by the King of Wakanda. You know, so I mean, it's just one aspect of it. I still think the movie's a little heavy for kids that are like 10 or under. I wouldn't take a 10-year-old or less to this movie.
Yeah.
In theaters, I would, see it first and then decide. What do you think about the end of the film when, after everything's said and done, and they go to Oakland and he's telling Suri that he's bought that building and I bought that building and that building. The plane comes down. You're leading the tech and distribution department.
Yeah.
And the kid comes over to him and he has his "I am Iron Man" moment. What'd you think?
I don't know. I liked it, and it sort of went back to that first film, Iron Man, with him just like turning around and saying, "Yep, this is me. This is who I am. Take me as you see it." But
now I wonder what he says though in that moment, which they cut off, because he starts to smile, and I'm wondering if because now you start seeing this kid who sees this guy that looks like him, who's like rich, he just has a freaking disappearing plane. And it's like ship, and it's like, who are you, man? You're freaking badass, yo.
Yeah.
And he's like, and so he's like just by being there for that kid in that moment, that kid's life has now changed forever.
Yeah.
And so, do you think it was "I am the King of Wakanda" T'Challa, or "I am Black Panther"?
Yeah.
I think he does the King of Wakanda, like saying like, look, I could be a king, you can do anything like that too, kind of thing.
Well, I think that aspect will be touched on more in the sequel, because we know we're gonna.
We'll find out because the thing is, in the comics and as our knowledge of this goes, we know that the King of Wakanda is always going to be the Black Panther, right? Or in the case of Civil War, his dad was too old to be the Black Panther, so he was the Black Panther, right? So at this point, we don't know. Does he want his does he want to know Black Panther? According
to what I remember, the Black Panther's passed on because of lineage. It's more of a passed down through generational. Yeah, it starts off with kings, but then their sons and their sons. It stays that
Yeah.
way.
I would assume when you become like his father was, that you could tell like, oh, he can't be the Black Panther anymore. He's old. He's out of shape. He's fragile. You know.
Right.
So they go. Sorry. Yeah. So going from that point, which that was a wonderful I Am Iron Man close to the film. I love that. The scene after that, the mid-credit scene where they go to the UN. What do you think about that? That was actually originally in the film, but they felt like it was two moments of the same, and they had to split them up. I felt it was good to split them up and put that one as the mid-credits. It kind of gives you an idea of where Wakanda is with the rest of the world.
I get the speech that was going on between him and the UN rep and what have you, and the UN rep say, well, what could a bunch of farmers do? You know, I thought that was a nice little snide, like, yeah, you really don't know anything about us, you know, just give us the chance. But at the same time, I don't even think it was necessary, on account of, because it was already
Kind of at the end of the movie with Oakland.
Right, it was already covered in that aspect in a little bit more positive way, because instead of dealing with politicians, you're dealing with the actual normal common Joe and the kid.
Yeah.
So to me, the mid-credit scene just didn't need to be there.
I feel like I liked what it did, but at the same time I was like, okay, no wow moment. It's just like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. I know where Wakanda is with the rest of the world now. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because the second time I saw the film, I didn't stay for that. I didn't stay for it.
What I took away from it, and the only other reason why I think this could be a case, is because come Infinity War, now we have reason for the UN to want to go into Wakanda and go after superheroes and things like that, because now they know that Wakanda's a lot more than what they were always perceived as. So it's like, okay, what else are you hiding? We need to go in there and find out.
Yeah, and as long as Martin Freeman doesn't squeal exactly about what kind of weapons and tech they have.
Yeah.
Because if Shuri just gives them a tip of the sword, not the whole sword, and like, this is everything we got, just gives them a certain limitations, right?
I think he's good. I think he's going to stay as a liaison for Wakanda.
Yeah, which they built a relationship.
He's the token guy for Wakanda. Let's just put it that way.
Now that now that he's been mentioned, before we go on to the second credit scene, I want to jump back to Martin Freeman. What do you think of his character in this film?
Oh, I love him because from Sherlock. So I love he takes the place of what the Shield agents were for the Avengers.
What Coulson was.
What Coulson was, and even the one guy that turned out to be a Hydra agent. With those two, Tilwell, those two, that he takes that role, and he fits perfectly, you know.
He's a good actor too. I mean, there's moments in there where he doesn't say a word or a line. He just kind of like, you could see him make an eye movement or a tilt of the head, and it's like, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
And like when Claw tells him, oh, you should go ask your friend on the other side of that mirror about yada yada. And so he looks at him, he kind of moves his head slightly, and then he reaches down and picks up his coffee and says, whatever, I think he says, like, I'll be right back or something, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, and then one of the best parts of the film is Claw right there singing, Don't Hurt Me No More. What is love?
Yeah.
We like his character then. Okay, that's good. I've heard from other people they didn't like his character. I like his character.
Yeah, no, I love him as an actor. I love Sherlock, which is what he's predominantly known for as Dr. Watson. But yeah, he fits that role of what Coulson and Tidwell were for the Avengers in each of their solo films.
And he even has the moment at the end where he can choose to leave and get out and avoid the ship, but he's like, you know what, I gotta help stop what's going on. So he stays in there. And,
yeah, that scene, I was really worried about him because I really don't want him. If they were pushing for, oh God, you're gonna do a Coulson on me and kill him too? Because that's what I took it as. I'm like, no, you can't do that to me. So I like him.
So then they played emotions and they brought you in more.
Yeah, for him.
Hey, that's good. They brought you in.
Yeah.
And you're teetering.
I'm like, you guys. Yeah, because with the whole Coulson thing, that was out of left field. You didn't expect Coulson because you've seen him in so many films. Now this is his third film since we see him.
No, second film.
Because he was in Civil War.
Civil War in this one.
Why did I think he was in?
He wasn't in Spider-Man.
I thought he was in Doctor Strange though.
No. No.
I'll have to check again. I'll watch it again later.
So now, okay, let's go on to the second end credit scene. This one is very simple as well. It's not to me, it's not a wow moment, but there is something in there that we will get into a little bit. But it's the scene of, it's a bunch of the Wakandan kids that are living off the land, not in the city, and they're looking over a body of some sort.
And they're all in whiteface.
And
they're all in whiteface.
Yeah, and so they say they're giggling and whatnot. I guess this person is Bucky. He wakes up. They run out, and during all this, they call him the White Wolf. Shuri tells them to not bother him, you know. And so at this point, something's said which makes it seem that she says, he's a Sergeant Barnes, and he goes, no, it's Bucky. So that, to me, that's the signal of him that I'm back to who I was.
He also thanks her.
Yeah.
And because she asked how's he doing, and he was like, better.
Yes.
So.
And it seems like this is what they've been doing to help rehabilitate him. By him saying "Call me Bucky," to me, that's the sign that he's back to being almost normal.
Yeah, he's being deprogrammed from, you know, the Winter Soldier program.
Yeah, and then so I didn't know this entirely when I watched the film, but after the fact, of course, I looked it up and I saw a lot of people talking about it. Is the White Wolf comment is that in the comics he was a white guy that was parents were killed in Wakanda, and he was adopted by T'Chaka, and so he's the brother, adopted brother of T'Challa. He's the White Wolf, and he's like an assassin. Would you call him? I guess like kinda. He has his own armor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he leads he has his own team as well in Wakanda.
Yeah, the White Wolf, his armor is sort of reflective of the Black Panther armor. You know, it's almost the same, except like the ears are a little bit curved in comparison to just being pointed out. And it's almost the same. And he's got like if I remember correctly, he has a short little white cape with the collar. So, and it's just like Black Panther's original suit that had the same thing. It was a black cape and collar. So they were very much, you know, yin and yang. So if Bucky's taking this role, which I don't expect him to, I expect him to be his normal garb, because we've already seen him in the Civil War in his regular garb with the metal arm. And I expect Steve to die. I think he's going to be the main death in in Infinity War, and it's because I expect Bucky to take up the mantle. I don't expect Sam to take it.
And I don't think Sam can do it. He's a normal human, and also not only that, we have Sebastian Stan has a 9-picture deal.
Yeah.
So this will be this little scene doesn't count, but his first movie was Winter Soldier. Second movie was Civil War. Then third movie and fourth movie will be the 2 Avengers. So he still has 5 more movies after that.
Yeah.
So he had a 9 deal. So I think that's where they're going to go with it as well. And also that death of Chris Evans, Captain America, Steve Rogers will be meaningful, impactful. You know.
Yeah, and I'm putting death in quotations. Just so you know.
It might be a retirement.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might be a retirement.
Or like a form of de-aging, like they did recently when in one of the books, where they turned him into they took the super soldier serum out of him, and he became an old man. They could do something like that.
90-year-old man.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that suck.
Well, yeah, but it would be the death of Captain America still.
Yeah.
You know. And keep in mind, Sam is the Captain America in current storylines.
Yeah, I know that. So, I know that. But in the current storyline, does he have super soldier abilities, or is he? No,
he flies just as normal. He has a shield, and he's traditional. He's the Falcon Cap.
Yeah, so. Falcon Captain America. Okay. Yeah, I think the White Wolf thing was more of a symbol.
It was just a nod. Yeah, it was just a nod to the
and a brotherhood of what T'Challa's done for him with Wakanda. That's what I took. All right, so let's get down to dirty, Lynn. Give me your grade your what you like about the film, what you thought about the film, and your grade.
Don't miss it. Definitely go see it. If you're gonna be loud, then stay at home and wait till it's released somewhere somehow, because this is a movie that you need to really focus on a lot of little there's a lot of intricacies in this that if you have to fight with someone who's yelling at the screen, it's going to take you out. Like me,
too.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing this again so I can get those little bits and pieces that I missed out throughout. But overall, it's a fun film. It's not heavily constricted. You shouldn't feel guilty about liking this film or anything along that lines. It's a traditional good Marvel film that takes it back to what Marvel comics actually are all about. It's just people being themselves and being the best of themselves. That's what this one is.
All right. Do you have a grade for it, or anything that you'd like to put on the same level?
As a grade, I'd give it an A. So, because I mean, you can't do better than this. You really can't, as far as sending a message without really overbearing, and at the same time make it fun and intriguing. So.
All right, I like that. That's a good explanation. I like this movie a lot. I've already seen it twice. I feel like this movie is unlike a lot of other Marvel films, and Marvel's done a really good job lately with their films of making them all feel different. You know, and this one is no exception to that. This one feels like it's a movie about pride, history, the pride of your nation. Also connections with your family, and also, I mean, strength. You know, and so I loved what they were able to do with the story, what they were able to do with actors, action. It feels like it's its own movie. I mean, if you watch Civil War and then go into this one, like Lynn said earlier, it goes great. It's amazing. And if you don't have a chance to see Civil War and you just saw this film, it's still really damn good, because in the first 10 seconds of seeing him, you kind of understand what he's coming from already, right? So, I mean, it works as its own. It definitely connects to the outer movies. A lot of good aspects about it. I put this movie up there with. I was talking with somebody recently about it, and I just to be bland right now, it's a top 10 film. It's hard to know which film is it up there in the top 5 with, because which movie do I take out? So it's right up there for me with, you know, Thor Ragnarok, Spider-Man Homecoming, Civil War, Winter Soldier, all that good stuff. I give it an A as well.
Yeah. Best origin film for a character that was already introduced in another film, if that makes sense. You know?
Yeah, because
this is more the origin of him and Wakanda.
Yeah, we're introduced to him, and we see a little bit of who he is in Civil War, and in this one we get the full scoop, the full scope of his character, his personality, and what he comes from, and his connection. So it's a bit of an origin film that doesn't necessarily beat you over the head with the traditional origin stuff, you know?
Right.
Like him training in the suit, like learning how to use. No, it just all happens like organically within the film, you know? But let's go into something now that we've covered the meat and the bones that we need to. Let's cover some last little things. Going from this movie and moving forward, stuff we learned from this. What things do you want to see in the future, whether it's in a Black Panther franchise like Black Panther 2 or in the future Avenger movies or whatever?
It's still too early to tell. I need to figure out what Infinity War is going to bring before I make any conclusions, because that's going to be the big shakeup, those two films. And until both those films done, I want to see what they want to do. I want to see what ideas they have for Wave 4, because right now it's still up in the air. With the whole Fox thing, I expect some of those characters to be introduced in Wave 4, but we won't know.
Yeah.
So,
I hope to see more of Shuri. I want to see Shuri interacting with Tony Stark. I want to see that. I definitely want to see where we left off in the mid-credit scene. I want to see what Wakanda could do for the world. You know what I mean? Like, it opens up this plethora of ideas of course, that we'll find out more in Avengers: Infinity War.
Yeah.
But that's like, I'm looking forward to that so much right now, to find out what Wakanda can do for the rest of the world.
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right, guys. So that is it for our review. Lynn, would you lead us off with some goodbyes?
Goodbye, everybody. Go watch my unboxing, please, because like I said on the podcast, if that only stays with one view, and Sean's next Fallout box gets 2,200 views or something like that, I'm gonna ban him from doing Fallout boxes. That's not a threat. That's not a threat. That's a promise. No, anyway, just go.
Boxing though. He's got some good stuff.
I got a video game haul coming up, and I also plan on hopefully getting us to do some games. Go check out the podcast we just did right before we were on here, so go check that out as well.
Yes, and join us on all of our profiles for gaming, also for social media. We're on Facebook and Twitter. Go check those out. Thank you for joining us for this review. Expect another one for a few upcoming movies. Most notably, in next month it will be Ready Player One.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. In April, I can't tell you what we'll do in April. May, I think we got Deadpool and Avengers. So yeah, we got some few big ones that I'd like you guys know about that we're gonna do.
We're probably gonna do Solo because we've done every Star Wars film to boot.
Yes, so Solo as well. Yeah, we'll do one on Solo because if we hate it, we get the hate, and we'd like to. That'll still be cool. And if we love it, we'll get the love, and that'll still be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for joining us, you guys. For Lynn and myself, we will see you guys next time. Peace.